The Eurovision Song Contest, often shortened to ESC or Eurovision, is the longest-running annual TV song competition, held, primarily, among the member countries of the European Broadcasting Union since 1956. The competition was based upon the existing Sanremo music festival held in Italy. Each participating country submits an original song to be performed on live television and radio and then casts votes for the other country's songs to determine the most popular song in the competition. The contest has been broadcast every year for 60 years, since its inauguration in 1956, and is one of the longest-running television programs in the world. It is also one of the most watched non-sporting events in the world, with audience figures having been quoted in recent years as anything between 100 million and 600 million internationally. Eurovision has also been broadcast outside Europe to several countries that do not compete, such as the USA and China. An exception was made in 2015, when Australia was allowed to compete as a guest entrant as part of the celebration of the 60th anniversary of the event. Since 2000, the contest has also been broadcast over the Internet, via the Eurovision website. Winning the Eurovision Song Contest provides a short-term boost to the winning artist's career, but rarely results in long-term success. Notable exceptions are ABBA and Celine Dion, both of whom launched successful worldwide careers after their wins. Ireland holds the record for the highest number of wins, having won the contest 7 times, including 4 times in 5 years in 1992, 1993, 1994 and 1996. The latest winner of the Eurovision Song Contest is Måns Zelmerlöw of Sweden, who won the 2015 contest in Vienna, Austria, with the song Heroes. The highest-scoring winner is Alexander Rybak, who won the 2009 contest with a record-breaking 387 points. Origins. In the 1950s, as a war-torn Europe rebuilt itself, the European Broadcasting Union, based in Switzerland, set up an ad hoc committee to search for ways of bringing together the countries of the EBU around a light entertainment program. At a committee meeting held in Monaco in January 1955, Director General of Swiss Television and Committee Chairman Marcel Bezenconne conceived the idea of an international song contest where countries would participate in one television program to be transmitted simultaneously to all countries of the Union. The competition was based upon the existing Sanremo music festival held in Italy and was seen as a technological experiment in live television. As in those days it was a very ambitious project to join many countries together in a wide-area international network. Satellite television did not exist, and the Eurovision network comprised a terrestrial microwave network. The concept, then known as Eurovision Grand Prix, was approved by the EBU General Assembly in a meeting held in Rome on 19 October 1955, and it was decided that the first contest would take place in spring 1956 in Lugano, Switzerland. The name Eurovision was first used in relation to the EBU's network by British journalist George Campy in the London Evening Standard in 1951. The first contest was held in the town of Lugano, Switzerland, on 24 May 1956. 7 countries participated, each submitting 2 songs, for a total of 14. This was the only contest in which more than one song per country was performed. Since 1957, all contests have allowed 1 entry per country. The 1956 contest was won by the host nation, Switzerland. Naming the program was first known as the Eurovision Grand Prix. This Grand Prix name was adopted by Denmark, Norway and the Francophone countries, with the French designation being Le Grand Prix Eurovision de la Chanson Européenne. The Grand Prix has since been dropped and replaced with Concours in French, but not in Danish or Norwegian. The Eurovision network is used to carry many news and sports programs internationally, among other specialized events organized by the EBU. However, in the minds of the public, the name Eurovision is most closely associated with the song contest format. The format of the contest has changed over the years, though the basic tenets have always been thus. Participant countries submit new original songs, which are performed live in a television program transmitted across the Eurovision network by the EBU simultaneously to all countries. A country, as a participant, is represented by one television broadcaster from that country. Typically, but not always, that country's national public broadcasting organization. The program is hosted by one of the participant countries, and the transmission is sent from the auditorium in the host city. During this program, after all the songs have been performed, the countries then proceed to cast votes for the other country's songs. Nations are not allowed to vote for their own song. At the end of the program, the winner is declared as the song with the most points. The winner receives, simply, the prestige of having won, although it is usual for a trophy to be awarded to the winning songwriters, and the winning country is invited to host the event the following year. The program is invariably opened by one or more presenters, welcoming viewers to the show. Between the songs and the announcement of the voting, an interval act is performed. These acts can be any form of entertainment imaginable. Interval entertainment has included such acts as the Wombles and the first international presentation of River Dance. As national broadcasters join and leave the Eurovision feed transmitted by the EBU Eurovision Network logo ident is displayed. The accompanying theme music is the prelude to Marc-Antoine Charpentier Stadium. Originally, the same logo was used for both the Eurovision Network and the European Broadcasting Union. However, they now have two different logos. When the ident is transmitted, it is the Eurovision Network logo that appears. The Eurovision Song Contest finals are traditionally held on a Saturday evening in May, at 1900 UTC. Usually one Saturday in May is chosen, although the contest has been held on a Thursday in as early as March. Participation. Eligible participants include primarily active members of the EBU. Active members are those who are located in states that fall within the European Broadcasting Area, or are member states of the Council of Europe. The European Broadcasting Area is defined by the International Telecommunication Union. The European Broadcasting Area is bounded on the west by the western boundary of Region 1, on the east by the meridian 40 degrees east of Greenwich, and on the south by the parallel 30 degrees north, so as to include the northern part of Saudi Arabia and that part of those countries bordering the Mediterranean within these limits. In addition, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia and Ukraine, and those parts of the territories of Iraq, Jordan and Syrian Arab Republic lying outside the above limits are included in the European Broadcasting Area. The western boundary of Region 1 is defined by a line running from the North Pole along meridian 10 degrees west of Greenwich to its intersection with parallel 72 degrees north, thence by Great Circle Arc to the intersection of meridian 50 degrees west and parallel 40 degrees north, thence by Great Circle Arc to the intersection of meridian 20 degrees west and parallel 10 degrees south, thence along meridian 20 degrees west to the South Pole. Active members include broadcasting organizations, whose transmissions are often made available to at least 98% of households in their own country which are equipped to receive such transmissions. If an EBU active member wishes to participate, they must fulfill conditions as laid down by the rules of the contest. A separate copy is drafted annually. As of 2015, this includes the necessity to have broadcast the previous year's program within their country, and the broadcaster must have paid the EBU a participation fee in advance of the deadline specified in the rules of the contest for the year in which they wish to participate. Eligibility to participate is not determined by geographic inclusion within the continent of Europe. Despite the euro in Eurovision, nor does it have any relation to the European Union. Several countries geographically outside the boundaries of Europe have competed. Israel and Cyprus in Western Asia, since 1973 and 1981 respectively, Australia in the Australian continent, in 2015 and Morocco, in North Africa, in the 1980 competition alone. In addition, several transcontinental countries with only part of their territory in Europe have competed. Turkey, since 1975, Russia, since 1994, Armenia, since 2006, Georgia, since 2007, and Azerbaijan, which made its first appearance in the 2008 edition. 52 countries have participated at least once. These are listed here alongside the year in which they made their acute but. Before German reunification in 1990, occasionally presented as West Germany, representing the Federal Republic of Germany. East Germany did not compete. B. The entries presented as being from Yugoslavia represented the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia, except for the 1992 entry, which represented the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. This nation dissolved in 1991-1992 into 5 independent states: Slovenia, Croatia, Macedonia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the Federal Republic of Yugoslavia. The Federal Republic of Yugoslavia reconstituted itself as Serbia and Montenegro in 2003, entered the contest in 2004, and finally dissolved in 2006, making 2 separate states, Serbia and Montenegro, both of which made their acute but in the contest in 2007, the winner that year being Serbia. C. The participation of Australia was intended as a one-off event to commemorate the 60th anniversary of the contest unless they won in 2015, in which case they would have been allowed to defend their crown in 2016. Hosting. Most of the expense of the contest is covered by commercial sponsors and contributions from the other participating nations. The contest is considered to be a unique opportunity for promoting the host country as a tourist destination. In the summer of 2005, Ukraine abolished its normal visa requirement for visitors from the EU to coincide with its hosting of the event. Preparations for the event start a matter of weeks after the host wins in the previous year, and confirms to the EBU that they intend to, and have the capacity to, host the event. A host city is chosen, often a national or regional capital city, and a suitable concert venue is identified. The 2 largest concert venues were Parken in Copenhagen and the Esprit Arena in Dusseldorf. The smallest town to have been hosts was Mill Street in County Cork, Ireland, in 1993. The village had a population of 1,500, although the Green Glens Arena venue could hold up to 8,000 people. The hotel and press facilities in the vicinity are always a consideration when choosing a host city and venue. In Kiev 2005, hotel rooms were scarce as the contest organizers asked the Ukrainian government to put a block on bookings they did not control themselves through official delegation allocations or tour packages. This led to many people's hotel bookings being cancelled. Host country. After the first 2 contests were hosted by Switzerland and Germany, it was decided that henceforth the winning country would host the contest the next year. The winner of the 1957 contest was the Netherlands, and Dutch television accepted the responsibility of hosting in 1958. In all but 5 of the years since this rule has been in place, the winning country has hosted the show the following year. The exceptions are 1960, hosted by the BBC in London when the Netherlands declined due to expense. The UK was chosen to host because it had come second in 1959. 1963, hosted by the BBC in London when France declined due to expense. Although the UK had only come fourth in 1962, Monaco and Luxembourg had also declined. 1972, hosted by the BBC in Edinburgh when Monaco was unable to provide a suitable venue. Monegasque Television invited the BBC to take over due to its previous experience. 1974, hosted by the BBC in Brighton when Luxembourg declined due to expense. The BBC was becoming known as the host by default, if the winning country declined. 1980, hosted by the Nose in The Hague when Israel declined due to expense, having staged the 1979 event in Jerusalem, and the fact that the date chosen for the contest was Israel's Remembrance Day that year. The Dutch offered to host the contest after several other broadcasters were unwilling to do so. The reluctance of those national broadcasters to stage the contest were due to already having hosted the event during the past couple of years. In addition to the expense involved, since 1981, all contests have been held in the country which won the previous year. Eurovision logo and theme. The current generic logo was introduced for the 2004 Eurovision Song Contest in Turkey, to create a consistent visual identity. The host country's flag appears in the heart of the generic logo. Each year of the contest, the host country creates a sub-theme which is usually accompanied and expressed with a sub-logo and slogan. The theme and slogan are announced by the EBU and the host country's national broadcaster. The generic logo was revamped in 2014, 10 years after the first generic logo was created. The revamped logo was conducted by lead designer Cornelis Jacobs and his team of Citizen Agency. The logo was used for the first time in the 2015 Eurovision Song Contest, the 60th anniversary of the contest. Slogans. Since the 2002 contest, slogans have been introduced in the show. The slogan is decided by the host broadcaster and based on the slogan, the theme and the visual design are developed. Eurovision Week. The term Eurovision Week is used to refer to the week during which the contest takes place, as it is a live show. The Eurovision Song Contest requires the performers to have perfected their acts in rehearsals in order for the program to run smoothly. In addition to rehearsals in their home countries, every participant is given the opportunity to rehearse on the stage in the Eurovision auditorium. These rehearsals are held during the course of several days before the Saturday show, and consequently the delegations arrive in the host city many days before the event. Journalists and fans are also present during the preceding days, and so the events of Eurovision last a lot longer than a few hours of television. A number of officially accredited hotels are selected for the delegations to stay in, and shuttle bus services are used to transport the performers and accompanying people to and from the contest venue. Each participating broadcaster nominates a head of delegation, whose job it is to coordinate the movements of the delegate members, and who acts as that country's representative to the EBU in the host city. Members of the delegations include performers, lyricists, composers, official press officers and, in the years where songs were performed with a live orchestra, a conductor. Also present if desired is a commentator. Each broadcaster may supply their own commentary for their TV and/or radio feed, to be broadcast in each country. The commentators are given dedicated commentary booths situated around the back of the arena behind the audience. Rehearsals and press conferences. Since 2004, the first rehearsals have commenced on the Sunday almost 2 weeks before the grand final. There are 2 rehearsal periods for each country. The countries taking part in the semi-finals have their first rehearsal over 4 days from the first Sunday to Wednesday. The second is from Thursday to Sunday. The countries which have already directly qualified for the grand final rehearse on the Saturday and Sunday. After each country has rehearsed, the delegation meets with the show's artistic director in the video viewing room. Here, they watch the footage of the rehearsal just performed. At this point, the head of delegation may make known any special requirements needed for the performance, and request them from the host broadcaster. Following this meeting, the delegation hold a press conference where members of the accredited press may pose them questions. The rehearsals and press conferences are held in parallel, so one country holds its press conference, while the next one is in the auditorium rehearsing. A printed summary of the questions and answers which emerge from the press conferences is produced by the host press office, and distributed to journalists' pigeonholes. Before each of the semi-finals, 3 dress rehearsals are held. 2 rehearsals are held the day before, while the third is held on the afternoon of the live event. Since tickets to the live shows are often scarce, tickets are also sold in order that the public may attend these dress rehearsals. The same applies for the final, with 2 rehearsals on the Friday and the third on Saturday afternoon before the live transmission of the grand final on Saturday evening. For both semi-finals and for the final, the second dress rehearsal is also the jury final. This is where the jury from each country casts their votes. This means that 50% of the result is already decided before the live contests have taken place. Parties in Euroclub. On the Monday evening of Eurovision week, a mayor's reception is traditionally held, where the city administration hosts a celebration that Eurovision has come to their city. This is usually held in a grand municipally owned location in the city centre. All delegations are invited, and the party is usually accompanied by live music, complimentary food and drink, and, in recent years, fireworks. After the semi-final and grand final, there are after-show parties, held either in a facility in the venue complex or in another suitable location within the city. A Euroclub is held every night of the week. This is a Eurovision-themed nightclub, to which all accredited personnel are invited. During the week, many delegations have traditionally hosted their own parties in addition to the officially sponsored ones. However, in the new 2000 millennium, the trend has been for the national delegations to centralize their activity and hold their celebrations in the Euroclub.